Last year, Cahill retired after 48 years of working at the National Security Agency. Senator Ben Cardin said of her, she led the agency's efforts to forge partnerships with state and local governments and the surrounding community. Ms. Hill has put a human face on an agency long known for its secrecy, and she is legendary in Maryland for her leadership and vision. Kay is a native of Howard County who fell into a job at NSA as a young mother. Her start was quite humble.
So somewhere down the line, a person that my then husband knew sold bus tickets at NSA, at the agency. And she went to work at the post office and was looking for somebody just to come in a couple of hours a day. And since NSA was a mile and a half from my house, that was perfect. I guess from 1965 to 1975, I sold bus tickets in NSA. I made enough money to get my hair done in the groceries. At that point, I could still buy groceries and get my hair done for under $30. I was in the agency every day, and that's how I got my network started. And when the energy crisis came in the 70s, the agency was looking for somebody to fill the void with public transportation, which was non-existent at NSA or Fort Meade or anywhere in this area, because as you know, we're about midway between Baltimore and Washington, and none of the services really support that. So in their search, since I sold bus tickets there every day, I was interviewed, and then they offered me a position. They said, "Would you like to come to work here?" I said, sure, because the kids were then going into high school. And it was a perfect timing. It was just luck. I just fell into the job. And I started out with a ride-sharing program, which very quickly evolved into motor fleet transportation and a multi-million-dollar program over the years. So I created my job. There wasn't a ride-sharing person when I went there. And I created the office called the Commuter Transportation Center, which still exists today.
Her work on transportation led to relationships with elected and government officials throughout the region, and into collaborations on all types of other issues for NSA, from education to sewage to workforce development. This public outreach wasn't without occasional resistance from within her super secretive agency.
The agency also wasn't real used to a lot of interaction in the state and local arena. They'd always done a lot with the federal government, but because we've all been trained to be very quiet about what we do, it was a little hard in some areas to convince the lower level folks that everybody that drives there has kind of figured out it's NSA. So at some point they put up a sign, and at some point they let me have business cards. And I think I was one of the first ones in the agency. I think the lawyers just gave up on me. They just got tired of telling me no all the time.
One of her signature achievements was to sweet talk and cajole enough public officials to finish the upgrading of Route 32, a critical highway for the agency and for the Baltimore-Washington corridor.
There was a 2.5-mile stretch of Route 32 between 295 and 175 that been a funding stalemate for 10 years. And it even went to the President of the United States. And so finally they said, give this to Kay Hill, she might be able to get this done. Well, it took her some years, and when I say her, I don't want to sound egotistical, but it pretty much was me working that project for years to get the counties on board, to build relationships with the state highways, to build relationship with the Maryland Department of Transportation, to build relationships with Fort Meade to convince them that it wasn't just NSA trying to get their way, but also all of Fort Meade. And we did that, and we got that road funded, thanks to Senator Sarbanes and others, and Senator Mikulski and the whole congressional delegation. And they actually wanted to call it the Cahill Highway at one point. I think you had to be dead to have highways named after you.
Kay says her ability to form friendships and alliances with all sorts of people, from U.S. senators on down, comes from her childhood experiences in Woody's, her grandfather's tavern on Route 1 in Howard County.
I think you should be raised in a tavern in a community where everybody knows everybody. My father was friends from everybody, from the congressman, United States congressman came in there, the Howard County sheriffs were there, the county commissioners at that time were there, and I was used to people at all levels.
Kay says she hates to have a fuss made over her, but if she has to receive an honor, she's glad to have it come from the Baltimore-Washington Corridor Chamber.
Well, Walt and his organization was really the first organization that I reached out to at NSA. Their organization was the first. And he has done things a lot of other chamber-like organizations have not done. And I'm very honored that he would ask me to do it. And I feel a strong allegiance to them because they've been important to NSA, and they've been supportive of NSA, and they've been supportive of the community, and been supportive of the Fort Meade, the military people, our Wounded Warrior program, and all those things. So it's a big honor.